Welcome back at way2testing.com. So this is the second tutorial of Python tutorial series. So today basically we will learn what is the syntax means identification. Then we will learn variables and data types, and then we will go with the next thing like types in Python. So this is my website way2testing.com. Inside the Python tutorial like Python basic, we will cover in the second tutorial syntax identification and all other things. Okay. So first learn what is the syntax and indentation. So basically any programming language needs some kind of syntax or braces or indentation so that he can know that what we are talking and what is the scope of our code. So suppose that in other programming language we use the braces. For example, that if you are using the Java, so you will write something like public void any program, any name you can say. So we use something like this one. Okay, so means your interpreter when come to know, so he will get to know that it is scope up to here only. Okay, so in Python we don't use the braces, we use the indentation. Indentation means suppose if I'm saying that if any condition you can say 10 is greater than 5 means it is a true, so it will go inside it. Okay, so it will go suppose that I'm saying that 10 is greater than 5, so it will go something like that one. So it will say 10 is, you can type any message, 10 is greater than 5. Okay, so this is the right hand indentation. So when your interpreter will come, he will get to know that you are talking about this method or this line, and this line it is the subline of this above line. Okay, so if I'll run this one, you will see the output. Okay, if I will do something like this one, so it will give me error because it is not in correct indentation. So you will see the error. Okay, expected intended block if. Okay, so something like this one, there is a indentation that we need to provide. So this is the syntax of Python. We use this you can say colon, and then we use this one. So this was the first thing. Second thing is that variable and data type. So variables are something that we want to store some values. For example, that if I want to use someone name, so I will use like a string name, and then name will be the string, so I will use double quote. If I want to store the age, so I will say that int age is equal to, because it's integer, so we will not use anything. But in Python it is not something like that. Python already understand what you are talking about. So if suppose that if anything I am writing inside the double quote, so he will already get to know that it's a string, it's a value of a string. So what mainly basic data types are, basically we have data type like integer, float, string, boolean, these all things. So suppose that I'm saying age. So simply I will say that age is 30. So a Python interpreter will know that there is a variable, it's named as age, and its value is equal to 30. So whenever I will use this variable, it will give print. Simply I will say print the age. So it will print 30. Okay, you can see. So variable is something which stores some values, and data type means what kind of data it is, whether it's integer, string, float, or something else. So suppose that there is a age, suppose that you want something else. Suppose that you want to give some name. Name will be the string. So it will be like, suppose that I'm saying name is a way2testing.com. Okay. Again, if I'm saying that float is something that decimal numbers or something. There are many, but we will learn very basic. Suppose that 30.52. Okay, 53. And then Boolean, we all know Boolean means like something like true and false, or yes and no. So in Python, we will just say, suppose that I will say that is active. So I will give any value like true. Boolean will be true or false only. Okay. So suppose that if I will print is, so it will print, we know the variable, what the value it store. And if I will print name, so it will print the variable name, whatever value is stored. Then I will again say print float. So it will print the value of float that is stored. So suppose that float, you can say anything like price, you can say. instead of giving float, let's say it's price, any item price or something, you can see. So I will store it here. Okay. Same way I will say that boolean value, so I will say that print show is active. If I'll run this one, so you can see this is the pattern that there is some variable which stores some values. Whenever we want to access that values, we will print that. What is the benefit? Suppose that I want to use a 10 times in my program. So I every time I do not use to write 30, 30, 30. One time I will declare it and I will use it. Okay. Simply I will run this program. All the values will be printed out. So again, variable that store the values, and data type is something which tell us what the data type will do. Okay, now uh, yeah, now next topic, there is a function type. So the type function in Python is an inbuilt function used to determine the data type of a variable. Suppose that there is a variable, we know it's a integer, float or something, but there may be some data type which I don't know. Means say there is some variable about this data type, we don't know what kind of data type of this variable is. So inbuilt function is a type. So we can use the type to get the data type of a variable. For example, suppose x is equal to 10. Okay, and you can say y is equal to 3.1 for a pi value, and then z is equal to, you can say, way to testing. Okay, and you can say we will in future incoming tutorial we will learn the data structure as well. So suppose that it's have some values, list values, you can say something like this one. If I will say I want to know what is the data type of x in suppose case, so I will simply say I want to print the data type of x. So it will say that I will say that just tell me the type of x. Simple. So it will give me the type of x. So I will run this one. You will see the output. You can say it's a class of integer. Means the x which is holding the value 10, which is in a class of integer. Means it's a data type of integer. Same way if you will print for y, it will give me what kind of data type of y is. Okay, so let me say it y. Same time if I print for the z, same time I will print for the a. Okay. So in many cases, it means in many times you will need to know what kind of variable it is, what is the data type it is. So we will use the this type. Now I will run this one. You can say x is the type of integer class, y is a float, z is a string because it's a double quote, and a is a list. We will learn data structure and all the things like list, array, and all the things in upcoming tutorials. So the type tell us the what are the data types of that variable have. Okay. Also one thing always remember, type always return basically the integer value. Okay. Let's see an example. For that I want to take an input from an user. Suppose that I want to take the input from a user. Suppose that I'm saying that name is equal to. If I want to take an input from an user, I will say that enter your name. Yeah, I will use the inbuilt method input. Okay. So enter your name. Okay. The user will enter the name, and I will say that print what I will say. I will say your name is. Okay. So if in many cases we want to take the input from the user, so there is an inbuilt method input. I will use that one. So you will say enter your name. I'm saying that my name is way to testing. Okay, way2testing.com. And then I will simply press enter. It will say that your name is way2testing.com. Okay. So in this case we use the input. Now always remember, if I will use like this one, uh, I will run it again. Okay, so suppose that I'm entering 10. So what it will give me, your name is 10. Means what I am trying to say here, whenever you will use input, its return type means it's return always an integer. Oh sorry, always a string. Means input always return a string. Suppose that I want to take the age. Age will be integer. I will take age and then I will say that I will take it as a input. I'm saying that whatever input is coming, it's an integer. So simply I will take as a integer like this one. So when user enter any age, it will become an integer. I will print that one. Let me run this one. So I'm entering that I'm 30-year-old. So suppose that if I will press enter, it will say your age is 30-year-old. Okay. So what is the benefit of using integer? Suppose that some user have entered some wrong value. It will give the error that it is a literal type in integer and you are entering some wrong values. So in this way, we will use this input to take the input from the user, and by default it will return the string. But if some case we want integer and float, we will mention that class over here. Okay, so it's the basic thing of the Python of the second tutorial. In next topic we will discuss more. So thank you for watching.